New research just released says using e-cigarettes to quit smoking is the best way to kick the habit, but the dangers of them exploding are still there. Our reporter Molly Casey spoke to a man who says his e-cigarette exploded. And Molly, what's he going to do going forward?
Well, Cornelius, he's going to be more cautious. The man says he can't believe this happened to him, and he wants to share his story so everyone knows to be careful when using e-cigarettes.
You try running up through your house, the basement, carrying like a stick of dynamite with you.
It may be small, but David Hitch's vape pen left a big mark. He had just plugged it in to charge when it started smoking.
I put my shirt over my nose and covered my mouth, and I was trying to open windows, set fans up.
The vape pen was incredibly hot, around 400 degrees. So when he tried to move it, it burned his finger and then exploded, filling his home with noxious fumes and forcing him to spend the night in the backyard.
It took at least 48 hours to get the fumes out, and even now today there's still a slight smell of it still in the basement.
Hitch isn't the first to have a vape pen explode. Between 2009 and 2014, there were 25 media reports of exploding vape devices, and the FDA only extended regulatory overview of e-cigs last year. But there isn't any regulation on the parts or batteries used.
And so you wouldn't think, something this small could be that powerful.
Hitch says he's glad he only sustained the small burn, but he's unsure of his future vape use.
Most likely I'll end up quitting. This definitely was a wake-up call.
The FDA did release new guidelines on Friday to begin regulating the amount of nicotine in vapes and e-cigs, but regulation of the devices is still not a part of the new guidelines.
And for a lot of people out there, you're going to say this hardly ever happens, but for the people it does happen to, it's serious. And you look online and you quick Google search and you see it's happened dozens of times.
I would not recommend Google searching it, but it has happened. And honestly, these little devices, you don't think that they would have that much power, but when
those, so hot.
When those batteries explode and they're right next to that heat, source in there, the explosion is pretty big.
Yeah, thanks so much for that story, Molly.